Hello everyone, my name is Mine and Shade, and I welcome you to my new podcasts. Now, what are these podcasts going to be about? Well, they're going to be about a range of topics. However, in all of them, I shall concern myself with rationality and irrationality, as well as the importance of the former in contrast to the potential harm of the latter. Since this session is only meant to be an introduction, do not expect me to go into the details yet. I shall do this in later sessions. We, that is humanity, live in a world our ancestors and we ourselves have scrutinized, influenced, and shaped into what we wanted it to be. Or at least we try to. There still is, though, a plethora of phenomena we do not understand yet, and this is the point where irrationality usually sets in. While rationality, albeit not pure rationality, I'm going to explain this later, is a good guide what one ought to do, irrationality is of course not. Unfortunately, many people, even very intelligent ones, often give in to bad intuitions or accept what others tell them to believe without ever asking for evidence. Needless to say, most of what we know we learn from others. As children, we could not survive without doing so. Yet there are enough people in the world who realize that they can misuse this instinctive trust to delude and misguide others wherever they want them. They make others believe what they think they should believe, and then even manage to make others sacrifice their lives for ideas the reality of which no one ever proved. Most probably because one cannot prove the respective proposition, since in turn it is simply false. I have spent many years assuming that if you appeal to a human being's reason, you could convince him that certain propositions are obviously true, whereas others are clearly false. I'm afraid I was as wrong as I could be. My studies regarding human reason, the use of rationality, and the influence of emotions reveal to me a rather sad concept of man. Let me hasten to say that I do not disapprove of emotions. On the contrary, I learned that cognitions without emotions are impossible. Both are deeply interconnected and cannot be fully disentangled. This is also an aspect I shall explain later on. With respect to feelings, however, there is the following problem. As I presume you to know, one can influence people's thoughts and, more importantly, deeds better by addressing their feelings than clear and rational reasoning. The most terrible phenomena in the world, such as National Socialism, Stalinism, but also more everyday institutions like politics and, by far the most dangerous, religion, made and still make rigorous use of this knowledge. It goes without saying that there is more in the world and to human life than cold logic and pure rationality. Human beings have, of course, desires and needs beyond material welfare. These desires and needs, on the one hand, make them human, but unfortunately susceptible to esoterica and religion on the other. The cultures of most modern nations have been in the grip of religions for many centuries, and the latter have grown their roots deep into the grounds. Religious institutions established, and with them religious leaders gained might over people. Might, however, at least tends to corrupt its holder, and his interest in keeping the might he holds appears to rectify each of his and his followers' deeds, at least in their own eyes. Sheer brutality, of course, cannot be used to persuade people in our Western culture any longer. So religious leaders have contrived of new, more subtle ways to shield their beliefs, or at least what they want their followers to believe, from critique. In other regions of the world, the method of sheer brutality still works anyway. What religious leaders, such as the Pope or some other bishop, try to make us believe nowadays is that humanity needs religion. Without God, they say, everything would be permitted. Everyone would give in to their selfish needs, and the world would go straight to hell. This is conspicuously nonsense. There are more and more people all over the world who do not believe in any deity or other metaphysical being at all. Nevertheless, the crime rate is not higher where there are non-believers. Well, I am a non-believer myself, but that does not mean that I do not hold certain values. I am quite disrespectful of others' beliefs, because instead of respecting people's beliefs, I respect people for their characters and their deeds. One may be free to believe that the moon is made of cheese, yet holding this belief does not deserve any respect, does it? Holding any belief whatsoever is no criterion for respect, and to demand so is rather ridiculous. The topics I have mentioned and the propositions I have put forward so far, needless to say, need to be discussed in detail and supported by evidence. Exactly this is what I hope to be able to do in the sessions to come, and I would be happy if you chose to follow me. Thank you very much for listening up to now.